In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Out of nothingness, by the power of his word, light explodes into being. Let there be light, and there was light. In 6 days, God speaks a vibrant world into existence, separating day from night, sky from sea, land from water, and filling it with sun, moon, and stars, plants and trees, fish, birds, and all kinds of living creatures. Finally, God forms the first humans, Adam and Eve, in his own image and breathes life into them. The world is in perfect harmony. Humanity lives in a beautiful garden, walking in friendship with God and caring for creation. Everything God has made is very good. But paradise doesn't last. A crafty serpent appears and tempts Eve to eat the one forbidden fruit. He claims it will make them like God, knowing good and evil. Adam and Eve give in and eat, disobeying God. Instantly, their innocence is lost. They feel shame and hide from God. This rebellion breaks the close relationship they had with him. God pronounces painful consequences. From now on, life will be filled with hardship, conflict, and death, and the humans are banished from Eden. Yet even at this dark moment, God gives a ray of hope. One day, a descendant of Eve will crush the serpent's head, though it will cost him his life, a promise that evil will not win in the end. Outside of Eden, humanity multiplies, and so does sin. Adam and Eve's firstborn son, Cain, grows jealous of his brother Abel and murders him. When God asks where Abel is, Cain answers defiantly, "Am I my brother's keeper?" A chilling reply that shows how far humanity has fallen. God punishes Cain to wander the earth, and people continue to spread out. Generation after generation, they build cities and culture, but violence and corruption spread with them. In Noah's time, human wickedness becomes so extreme that God is grieved. He decides to judge the world with a great flood, but shows mercy by saving one righteous man, Noah, along with his family. God warns Noah to build a huge boat, an ark, to survive the flood. Noah obeys, and he and his family, along with pairs of every kind of animal, board the ark. Then rain falls for 40 days, and floodwaters cover the earth and wipe out everything outside the ark. But those in the ark are safe. When the waters recede, Noah and his family step onto dry land. Noah builds an altar to thank God, and God sets a rainbow in the sky as a sign of his promise, never to destroy the earth with a flood again. The flood is both a severe judgment and a new beginning, a second chance for humanity. Noah's descendants repopulate the earth. Soon, human pride reemerges. In a place called Babel, people unite in arrogance, determined to build a city with a tower reaching the heavens to make a name for themselves. They attempt to glorify themselves instead of God. But God intervenes by confusing their language. Unable to understand one another, the people abandon the project and scatter across the world. Once again, human arrogance is humbled, yet God's plan quietly moves forward. Amid the scattered nations, God begins a new chapter of his plan through one man, Abram, later called Abraham. Abram lives in Ur until God calls him. "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you." God promises to make Abram into a great nation and to bless all the families of the earth through him. Trusting God's promise, Abram obeys. He leaves his homeland with his wife Sarai and their family, journeying to the unknown land of Canaan in an extraordinary act of faith. Abraham's journey includes both faith and flaws. For decades, he and Sarai cannot have a child, despite God's promise. They grow impatient, and Abraham even fathers a son, Ishmael, through a servant. But God makes clear that the promised child will come through Sarah. Finally, when Abraham is 100 and Sarah is 90, she miraculously gives birth to a son, Isaac, whose name means laughter. The child of promise has arrived at last. Later, God tests Abraham's faith in a dramatic way. He commands Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, the very son of promise. It is a trial almost beyond comprehension, yet Abraham is willing to obey. He takes Isaac up a mountain and prepares to offer him, but at the last moment, God intervenes and stops him. In Isaac's place, God provides a ram for the sacrifice. Abraham's willingness to give up his beloved son shows his complete trust in God, and God reaffirms his covenant promises to Abraham, blessing him for his faithfulness. Isaac has twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Though Jacob is younger, God chooses him to carry on the covenant promise. However, Jacob proves himself a schemer. He deceives his father and steals Esau's blessing, then flees to escape Esau's fury. But on the way, God appears to Jacob in a dream and reaffirms that the covenant promise now passes to him. Jacob spends years in exile. He marries and eventually fathers 12 sons who will become the ancestors of Israel's 12 tribes. Finally, Jacob returns to Canaan. One night, he wrestles with a divine stranger and is given a new name, Israel, meaning one who struggles with God. Jacob, Israel, reconciles with Esau and settles in the promised land. Joseph is one of Jacob's youngest sons and also his favorite. This provokes intense jealousy, especially when Joseph shares dreams of ruling over his brothers. The brothers ambush Joseph and sell him to Egyptian slave traders. In Egypt, he is enslaved, then falsely accused and imprisoned. Even in jail, Joseph's gift for interpreting dreams is noticed. When Pharaoh has troubling dreams no one can explain, Joseph is summoned. He interprets Pharaoh's dreams as a divine warning. 7 years of plenty will be followed by 7 years of severe famine. Impressed, Pharaoh makes Joseph his right-hand man, in charge of storing grain during the years of plenty so Egypt can survive the famine. During the famine, Joseph's brothers come to Egypt to buy food and unknowingly plead before the country's governor, who is Joseph himself. Joseph reveals his identity in a tearful reunion. The brothers are terrified, expecting punishment, but Joseph forgives them. "You meant evil against me," he says, "but God meant it for good, seeing how God used their actions to save lives." Joseph invites his father, Jacob, and the whole family to settle in Egypt, providing for them through the famine. In his final days, Jacob blesses his 12 sons, the future tribes of Israel. Genesis concludes with Joseph's death in Egypt as he assures his family that God will one day lead them back to the promised land. And so Genesis concludes as both a family saga and the foundation of the Bible's story. In its sweeping narrative, from the creation of the world to Joseph's story in Egypt, Genesis lays the groundwork for everything to come. It shows a good world created by God, then broken by human sin, and God's response of both justice and mercy. It also presents the origin of sin, but the first promise of redemption, as God chooses Abraham's family to bless all nations. All these episodes form one grand narrative, the beginning of God's plan to rescue and restore a fallen world. Genesis isn't just the first book of the Bible, it's the foundation of the entire biblical story, the opening act that points ahead to what God will do next to redeem his creation.